Welcome to Savor the Story podcast, where books and snacks are life. I'm Nicole. That's Vanessa.
Hello. That was the fastest you've ever said that.
Yes. I figured I have to say it really quick. That way it leaves time for all of the talking.
Okay, great. Welcome to Savor the Story podcast.
Come on. Get it over with.
Okay, that's fair.
On to things.
We have to get you talking as fast as the guy that always says what is it, like when you take medicine?
Oh, yes.
The side effects. There you go.
Side effects.
Yes.
To include death.
Right, exactly. Hopefully this podcast does not include death, but I mean, we'll see, I guess.
It is a possible side effect.
That's right.
Which is so awesome. You die from the awesomeness.
Terrible. Don't listen to anything we just said.
We're gonna cut all of this out.
Yes. Erase that all from your brain. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Okay, great.
Good. Totally awesome.
All right.
I had not a very crazy week or anything like that, but I feel like a lot happened in the weekend.
Yes, it did.
Yes. So before we get into our shared weekend experience,
yes,
can I just talk about the weather for a minute?
Sure.
I know this is silly, but on Thursday I was home and we had a tornado warning, and so we were in the basement from from midnight until 2 a.m. and then I got up, went to work, drove down to your house. And then as I was at your house Friday night, you guys had a tornado warning.
Yes.
So luckily
we also hang out in the basement.
Luckily no tornadoes in our area. I know Michigan, I think had on Thursday night had 7 confirmed tornadoes, and there's a shit ton in the Midwest area as well. So weather's insane.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, luckily for when you were here, it stopped around 10:30 or something like that. So we weren't hunkered down all night,
right? At
least,
right, which was nice because I am too old for 2 nights in a row of after 9 o'clock adventures. So
I agree.
Yeah.
Stupid fucking weather. I'm tired of the tornadoes. I'm tired of all of that. Can you just make it stop, please?
I'll work on it.
You. Great.
I'll start manifesting that a little bit.
Great. Thank you.
Because all my other manifesting is working so well.
We need to up our witchy game.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Yeah. I'm going to start reading a book.
Okay, great. I'll give you a sneak peek for maybe 10 weeks from now.
Okay. You had me.
Oh, thank you. I'm reading a book right now, so that's why I'm saying it will probably be in 10 weeks that I talk about it. Where this group of women who, when they hit menopause, get magical powers. So maybe that's what we're waiting on.
That's what's gonna happen.
Yes, we're close. We're closer to menopause now than we aren't. So maybe that's what is the magical powers, and our manifesting skills are waiting for us to go through menopause.
Yes, all these great things supposedly gonna happen when we reach menopause.
Right.
I saw an article today, since we're talking about it, where 30 to 45% of women say their boobs get bigger when they go through perimenopause, and I was like, yes, bring it on.
One positive, great.
Bigger boobs, magical powers, yay!
Yes. You're right. We've now found 2 positives. Great.
Bring it on.
Listen, I didn't get magical powers when I turned 12 like Harry Potter. I didn't get magical powers when I turned 30 I was 30 is the right time. That didn't happen. I'm now 40 and that didn't happen. So menopause, I guess, is where it's at.
Yes. I think that's probably where it's
Thank
at.
you.
Like, everybody who's already gone through menopause, you are hiding magical powers, and I'm angry at you about it. We could be sharing.
Give us something to look forward to.
Exactly. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
The whole weather story was tiptoeing us into our weekend, which we had a shared weekend this weekend. Yay! We did. I was so happy to see you.
I know I feel like it's been a long time. It's been 2 months. That's a long time.
Yeah, it is. And I feel like I just talked at you for like 2 days.
No, not even a little bit.
Because like every time you walked in the room, I was like, let me tell you everything I'm thinking right now. And you were like, okay, cool.
Yes.
Like,
I feel like it's the same. It was it was a shared experience. Yeah.
So,
but it was fun. It was a great time. We ate a lot of food together. We just hung out.
Right. Yeah.
We maybe watched a show.
We might talk about. Yes. So yeah, I was really happy to have come down a day early. Just not only to just see you, but because it makes the drive easier, but also because we got to go to Condado's.
Yes.
And
we got nachos, and we got a book, and we got cheesecake.
I know. I don't know if there is a Condado's near me. I think there is, but I think it's like an hour away or something like that. So I was really happy that when I was like, hey, I'm going to come down here, and you were like, okay. You're like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to go to Condado's. You're like, okay.
Obviously, yes.
So I thank thee for that.
Of course. Tim was also happy about that.
Yes. Yeah.
Because he got to hang out and get nachos too.
Yes. I love their nachos. Anybody who's never gone to a Condado's, look it up. If there's one near your house, go get the nachos. It's better than anything else they have, in my opinion.
Okay.
Their other stuff, I guess, is fine, but
yeah,
something about making your own, like building your own nachos in any, that's where it's at. And they've never gotten it wrong.
No,
like I've never ordered. Yeah. I've never ordered, because like I just keep naming things every time I get them. I'm like, I want. There's no limit. All right, I want this and 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 this.
72 items,
and every single time they've gotten it right. So
yeah. So, what else are we talking about for the weekend?
Well, I bring up Condado's because nachos are my snack this week. I call them.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
I know I've used them before. I feel like I've used them in the first like 5 episodes, but I feel like this is special circumstances.
It is. I also have used. I'm pretty sure I've used the same snack a couple of times, so it's allowable.
Good.
I feel like I ate way too many things this weekend. So I have no idea what I'm gonna like. Should I use churros? Should I use cookies? Should I use carrot cake? Should I use what else did I eat? Literally everything. Ooh, what were those chips that I ate? The onion.
Oh yes, yeah. I can't remember the brand name, but those were really good.
It's something to do with Michigan, isn't it?
Oh, were they Better Maids?
That doesn't sound right. I thought the brand was also like Michigan. I don't know what I'm saying. Great Lakes. Was it called Great Lakes?
Yeah, that's Michigan Cherry. Yeah, Michigan Cherry Barbecue Kettle Chips. Great Lakes Potato Chip Company.
I knew it was Great Lakes.
You were right. Good job.
So it was those, but it was whatever the something and
salt,
onion.
Pepper, like black pepper, sea salt, onion. Yes. Oh, those were good.
Maybe I will use those. Even though I can't remember the name of them. When we get to my books, I'm just going to be like, those chips.
The potato chips.
Yes. All right. That's my snack this week because those are delicious. And it's something new that I haven't used even remotely before. So that's going to be my snack this week.
Okay. I'll allow it, but...
Okay. All right.
But I have a caveat.
Okay.
I need you to tell everybody about your first experience, I'm air quoting here, your first experience eating a pineapple upside down cake.
Well, I only had one bite of it, and immediately I was like, I feel like I've had this before.
Yes.
But I mean, it was yummy, but it was, it's, I know the reason why I wasn't sure if I'd had it before, because the pineapple part of the pineapple upside down cake kind of freaks me out a little bit because it's like slimy. And so, and it looks weird to me. And so, as soon as I took the bite, it tasted fine, but I was like, yep, this is why I know that I've avoided it in the past, because the sliminess is just weird to me.
That makes sense.
But it's delicious. So, but it's never something that I would actually like actively choose for myself.
Or make yourself or anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But it was good. I appreciated you getting it so that I could try it.
Yes. Well, that was the reason I made us go there.
Yes.
when you guys were, what's next? I was like, we're going to get cheesecake. Yeah, like, okay.
We have to have that. Yes. I'm not going to fight you.
Right. So it happens enough where it's a normalized event. So there wasn't anything suspicious about that. So I appreciate that. But
yes. Yeah, it was good. But I would say don't expect me to like order it.
Okay.
Or have it again.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
That's crazy, because that's like, I remember that was like one of my father's favorite like desserts or whatever. And I really like it with ice cream. It's delicious. Delicious warm with ice cream.
Yeah, I was going to say most like pies and stuff like that, cobblers, those things, anything like that is always good with ice cream on it.
Yeah. My dad used to put it in a bowl the next day and pour milk over it and eat it like like cereal. Yeah.
That's another level.
Yeah.
I've never heard of pie cereal.
I know. So.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah. So, snack, whatever it's called, recommendation from my father.
Yes. Okay, great.
So.
That's fun.
Yes. So, I have something to tell you.
Okay.
And you asked me about it last week.
It's on my list. I was going to ask you again.
Yes. I wrote it down, and I knew you were going to ask me about it, so I figured I would just bring it up.
Okay.
I did look this up, but I only looked up Owlcrate because I looked up Owlcrate first, and I got the information that I needed from there. So then I was like, I'm done. I'm done looking up the rest.
Yes.
So,
okay.
All right. So Owlcrate Publishing. This is from their website. So
all right.
Owlcrate Publishing. They have decided that they are going to do this because it stems from a long-standing aspiration to have a direct hand in the nurturing and publishing of stories that resonate with and reflect the diverse voices of our community.
Okay.
This new venture is a natural progression of their original initiative mission statement, and it is to celebrate and uplift authors in an ever-changing industry.
Okay.
That was a lot of reading on screen.
Do we have a timeline of when they're planning to start, like their first book?
So the first page that I went to said 2024, and I was like, this is not right. So I refreshed and went back and found it, and it was like, oh, okay. So as of right now, sometime in 2025, their first novel it's going to be a 4-book series called the Dark Set Chronicles. And this anthology series is the first book is called Monsters in Masquerade. And
I've been seeing this book.
Yes, it is a book of short stories. And there's a bunch of authors, and there's some best-selling authors and some new and emerging authors.
Okay.
And so I looked, and it is available for pre-order right now, but I couldn't find a date for release, just clicking through. And so I even went as far as clicking it, getting to checkout, and looking at because mine kicks it over to the shop app.
Yeah, to tell you when it should be delivered.
Yeah, I was looking to see if I could get a time frame for delivery or whatever, and that's as far as I got. I wasn't I'm not sure I'm ready for $40 worth of to figure out that it's gonna tell me to be determined.
Right.
So,
right.
So I didn't continue any further. So
I've been seeing so many emails about that book, though, like the emails from them and on their website and like all that stuff. But I've never realized that it was their own publishing book. I just thought it was another book that they were putting out as a special edition. So interesting.
Yep.
Good for them. How exciting.
Super exciting.
Well, I also have stuff to tell you as a follow-on from last week.
Nice. All right, okay. Good. I'm ready.
So maybe, was it last week that we talked about it? Whenever it was that we talked about reading slumps and how they could last, how they can last a really long time.
Yeah, definitely last week, but I feel like I've been bringing it up for like 6 weeks. Sorry.
Yes, I know that you have because you've been in a crazy spot. But I think it was last week that I mentioned that I had seen like a TikTok or something about someone talking about like years long. And I knew that I had one, obviously, I was in it, so I knew it happened to me. But I went and like looked it up to see exactly what happened. Oh, yes. First of all, I do want to say last week I mentioned that I read ACOTAR and Fourth Wing to come out of it. That was a lie. ACOTAR gets no credit for anything of me coming back into reading. I re-looked at all my timeline and it's nowhere near what happened. That's just in my brain what happened. So I will clarify that right now, but then I'm going to tell you. Okay, so I did some digging to find out what my slump looked like.
Okay.
It took me almost 10 years to get out of this slump. So hold on. So I'll tell you. So I was reading a lot. 2012, I read 57 books. 2013, I read 53 books. So we're in like true reading, right? 2014, I read 21. So it started. In 2015, I read 9.
Oh, geez.
And then from here on out, it's just going to be in time. Okay. So starting with 2016 and then 17, 18. 5, 1, 2, 0, 1, 1, 1. So 20.
You read 0 books? That's a thing?
In 2019, I read 0 books. 2020 was 1. 21 was 1. 22 was 1. 23, I finally got back in. And I read 25 books in 2023. So I went from 5, 1, 2, 0, 1, 1, 1 to 25.
Okay. So
in 2023 is when I started a book club, or I joined a book club in the beginning of the year. So in January of that year, I read 2 books. So it kind of like jumped back in. And just so you know what the 2 books are, it was not ACOTAR. It was Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing by Matthew Perry. And The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Okay. So I read those 2 books, and that kind of got me back in. ACOTAR did not come until November of 2023. So I was already in it. Right. But yes, so from 2014-ish is when I started, because that was the year I had 21. So we'll go with 2015 to 2023. In that time, I only read 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 books.
I'm flabbergasted. That's why I'm not speaking. For a minute, I
told you I was shocked.
I know. I was sitting there and I was like, I can't just stay silent. People will think something has happened.
Nicole has died. We told you that a side effect could be death.
Oh my gosh. It almost happened. That is. No,
I told you.
That's crazy.
I told you. And I don't even know. So I looked through the books that from my last like big-ish year, which is the 21 books in 2014. And there's nothing in there that was like bad that I didn't really like that kind of like made me stop. It literally, I honestly think that I just overwhelmed myself. At that time, I was heavy on Kindle Unlimited. I was reading literally every YA fantasy you could think of that was out on it. And I just think like I overwhelmed myself, and I just was like, there's nothing left. I've reached the end. I've reached the end of Kindle Unlimited of YA fantasy. And I just like stopped. I don't know. There's nothing that happened at that time. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Well, so let me go back to that. Actually, 2015, I got a new job and my dog got really sick.
Right.
And we had about 6 months of dealing with her in like medical crisis, basically. Mm-hmm. So I guess it makes sense why 2015 is when I started, like I dropped drastically in so maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was a combination of being just completely done with YA fantasy on Kindle Unlimited mm-hmm. and like a massive life change.
Right.
And so it took me years to finally be like, oh yeah, I enjoy reading.
Right. Yeah. To come back to it.
Yeah.
I won't for your sake call it an era, but
thank you.
I mean, at what point, what is the length of time before you're like, I'm just not like a reader anymore? Or
so I don't know. Like I always felt like there was always books that I saw that seemed interesting to me. There was always, which is why sometimes I had like those like ones or twos in there. I actually even think in 2020, I might've had a few rereads that I did, that I didn't count in here. Cause I don't remember it. I don't know. The whole time I always felt like I was a reader. Like I still felt like in my brain, like I have this Kindle that I adore. Like this is one of my prized possessions. And I still had a whole bookshelf of books, but I don't know. Yeah. I just couldn't make myself read.
Yeah. And maybe that's just like we want to call it the connection or whatever is you still identify as a reader. So therefore you still are, right?
Yes. But yeah, so I just wanted to share that it took me a long time to get out of it.
So that's crazy. Like that it went on that long and also mildly terrifying.
Agreed. Because what if it happens again?
Yes, what if it happens again? Oh my gosh, no. I had like a mild panic attack this week, and this is mostly to myself. I did this to me. I had a mild panic attack this week because I only finished one book. And I barely finished it. I finished it like yesterday.
Okay.
Like at like 7. So like,
no.
Like, oh my goodness. So
this is why you have to, one, have some in the backup for the podcast purposes, and 2, I don't know. I just feel like at least you had one. That was always the goal of when we started this. I said, as long as we finish one book a week,
yes,
then we're fine.
Yes, I will. Yes, at least for that aspect, we're fine. But from my own personal goals,
yes,
I fucked. I'm fucked.
Yes, but in the past, the week before you had like a 5-book week, so I feel like you're like leveling yourself out a little bit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think it's okay.
If I just push through some of these books, I'm giving up really, really quickly. I'm just like,
But I think that's okay. I think the fact that you're in such a slump right now, I think it's irresponsible of you to keep going in a book that you're not into.
Right. Okay.
Because I feel like it's just going to pull you down even more. So the responsible thing for you to do is that the second a book becomes like, I can't do this, you got to stop it and go to the next one.
All right. I will be stopping a book today.
Okay, great. Hopefully it's not the bonus bite book.
Dang it.
Sorry.
I'm just joking.
Okay,
just joking. At least for that, I have been, like, while I was reading it, Mike did look at me and he was like, how's that book? And I'm like, I hate it. And he was like, and he's like, oh, are you going to quit it? And I was like, no, I can't.
No. This one is not, it would be irresponsible of you
to quit this book.
This book.
Yeah. I should say I was just being dramatic.
It's okay. I'll allow it too.
because I pushed back last week's recording to Wednesday, and we couldn't start the book until we recorded. So I only had a couple days, and then I drove up to your house and I hung out with you. I forced myself to like read like 100 pages between like 4 and 8 last night. So
this week you will have more time at least. Yes. Which is good because we actually have to do more this week.
Don't we have to do the rest of the book?
Oh, you might be right. Damn it. I gotta start.
Yes.
Tonight. Oh no. Okay. All right. Well, do you want to tell me about your books?
Sure.
Okay, great.
I have 2 books this week. I didn't read 2 books this week, but I have 2 books this week.
Okay, tell me all about it.
All right. So the first book I'm going to talk about is another February read.
Oh no.
That I've been holding on to, and it's starting, like last week, like I said, it's starting to get gray around the edges. So I was like, maybe I should get up on this. So this book, though, another reason that it pushed me to do the review this week is because I've seen it popping up on Book Talk.
Oh,
okay. So I was like, well, whatever.
Now I'm interested.
Yeah. You tell me if you've heard of it. It is called There's Something About Mira.
Yes, I can, I feel like I know what the thing looks like, the cover.
Yep.
Okay. It
is by Sonali Dev. In February, it was Kindle Unlimited. I think it's still Kindle Unlimited.
Okay.
And it is a romance or like a rom-com.
Okay.
I guess a rom-com. I'll get into this. All right. Okay. So this book is about a girl named Mira, and she is on her engagement trip to New York. But there's only one problem. She is by herself.
Okay. I don't think that's how engagement works, but okay.
Right. So her fiance has had to bail because he is a surgeon, and the only other surgeon in their practice has just broken his hand. And so I feel like of all the reasons that you have to not go on your trip, that's a pretty fair reason. Okay. Right. Yeah.
Sure.
So because they've dropped all the money on it and they can't, it's all non-refundable at this point and stuff like that, her fiance knows that she wants to go to New York and has always wanted to go to New York. So he's like, I'm sorry, I can't support this. It would be irresponsible of me, right? So please just go and try to have a good time. Do all the things that we talked about. And when my buddy comes back, we'll do a vacation, right?
Okay.
Plus we have, they're getting married, so they have their honeymoon and stuff like that. So she goes, and while she's there, she finds a ring in the middle of New York, just somewhere. Okay. So, all right. So this ring is special because you could tell it's obviously part of a pair. It's like a mated set, and it's lost. Everybody around her, nobody knows who it is or whatever. So she decides that she is going to use the rest of her vacation to try to find the owner.
Right.
So she takes a video, posts it on social media, it blows up, all that other stuff. And she's trying to find out who the owner is. And that's how she meets a gentleman named Krish. I think it's that's how I was pronouncing it. Now,
all right.
Krish is a journalist, and he saw her social media post and he was like, I will help you find the ring's owner, only she doesn't know this, but Krish may have ulterior motives for doing so.
All right.
So this begins their journey throughout New York and, stuff like that. They travel to India and all this stuff.
Good Lord.
Right. Okay. So that way they can try to return this ring to its rightful owner.
Okay.
So a lot of travel. Mm-hmm. All right, so some triggers for this book. Mm-hmm. There is a lot of violence. Not a lot. There was a surprising amount of violence for it being a rom-com.
Yeah, I was not expecting you to say violence. Okay.
Yes. There is no experienced rape, but she did in her past experience rape, so that does come up.
So it's talked about.
It's talked about, yes.
Okay.
Abortion is talked about.
Okay.
Homophobia is talked about. It's pretty prevalent throughout the whole book, actually. I shouldn't say talked about. It is lived event throughout this whole entire book. And then there's also a lot of emotional terrorism going on in this book. Everybody is just a bunch of assholes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I am not even sure how you could consider this book to be a rom-com. Like,
all right, now I understand your hesitation.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like there was any comedy in this whole entire book. There's a lot of really heavy subjects in this. And like I said, like almost the whole entire book talks about homophobia and like people's experiences and stuff like that. And I really struggled to find anything like romantic comedy about this book. I feel I should say that because I don't think there's anything wrong with the book, but I don't like when books say, this is a romantic comedy, and then you get into it and it's not, right?
Just call it what it is.
Yeah, tell me that this is what the story is. I still would have read it, but it goes back to, am I ready for this? Am I mentally prepared for this? You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So other thoughts about this book is I didn't really like Mira.
Okay, great.
Yeah, there was nothing wrong with her. I didn't find her annoying or anything like that. She was just, she had no personality.
Okay, just blah.
You know, she was just kind of blah. She's just kind of there. The story was happening around her, and she was just the ring bearer, right?
Okay.
She, you know, so a less interesting
because she
Frodo.
happened to find it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, there is the romance part between her and Krish. I didn't really get it.
Okay.
I didn't get the romance. It was like she ends up not wanting to be with her fiance because of like societal pressure and like stuff like that, which I understand. But I thought her fiance was pretty caring and understanding and supportive, and he even at one point makes like a really bad he makes a comment that is not very nice, and she calls him out on it, and he immediately is like, back up, I'm sorry, you're 100% right, I shouldn't have done that, you know, immediately owns his mistake and apologizes for it. And I was just, and she's like, no. And I was like, what? It's not like he, like, I don't know. It's not like he
like stuck to his guns. He
didn't drown a basket of puppies. He was just, So, and I think the reason that I was so not surprised, is that Krish is kind of a jerk. He's just not, he's not very pleasant. Like that whole, like, enemies to lovers thing or whatever. Yeah. He's basically a jerk for like 70% of the book. And then you learn that he has like a little bit of a backstory, and she's like, I forgive you. And I'm like...
So because of his experiences, he's forgiven for being a dick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, and on top of that, he's kind of just like hot and cold the whole time. You know? Like, but there is no... I don't really think there is any... Like, this is, when you call it a romantic comedy, there is no spice.
Okay.
This is like the bell pepper of spicy.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
All right.
February, Nicole rated this a 2 out of anger.
I mean, everything you're saying makes me feel like a 2 is appropriate.
Yeah. I will say a lot of that anger was I don't like to be misled. In descriptions.
Fair.
Now that I've had time to like not be angry about that anymore, I am willing to go back and give it maybe a 3 because, like I said, the story isn't bad. Like, there's a lot of, you know, good. Like a lot of the story is nice. You know, like there's a lot of growth, and you hear in the back,
Okay.
the actual story of the ring's owners was really interesting, and it's very sad, and I think it's a good story to tell, but don't tell me it's a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
And then dump me into just a tale of like 300 pages of sadness, right?
Oh, sad. Yeah, exactly.
So I think that was my main reason for rating it a 2,
Okay.
back in February.
That's fair.
So, okay.
Okay.
The next book is called Fugitive Telemetry.
Great.
Don't ask me to say it again. It is by Martha Wells. It is a sci-fi, Kindle Unlimited, and it is number 6 in the Murderbot Diaries. We're getting there.
Yay. I thought that. How many are out right now?
7.
Oh, there's 7. Okay.
So, all right. So I'm going to, real quick, this is a real short, because I'm giving away the book by now. All right. So, Murderbot discovers a dead body while on preservation station, and against his will and those of the authorities, he is roped into helping solve the mystery, and this also forces him to interact with humans.
Back to helping the humans. Stupid humans.
Dang
All right.
humans. All right. Okay, so we're back to novella length. The
you are?
book, yeah, the last book was a full length book. This book is a novella again.
All right.
Which was 168 pages. So this book, man, oh man, I listened to it. Like I said,
Oh, you did?
yeah, it was Kindle Unlimited, but it was the Kindle Unlimited that you could also listen to. I didn't have time to go through it, and I really wanted to know what happened, so I was like, I'll just listen to it while I'm at work. I should have just read it.
Oh, no.
Not because it was bad, but because I didn't know when I started, because it doesn't say it anywhere.
Okay.
In the description or anything like that. This book actually takes place before Book 5 network event. So it dropped in, and he was like, at the end of Book 5, he's like, I'm gonna go do things with art. And then in this book, he's back at Preservation Station with Dr. Mensah, and I was like, what the hell happened? What is going on?
What happened?
It was wildly confusing. I don't know.
Okay. Was this book supposed to technically be like a 5.5 situation, or like a 4.5 situation or something?
No clue. I looked around a little bit. I didn't spend a whole bunch of time diving into why this book 6 was out of order. My assumption is maybe Martha wasn't sure where to take the Murderbot story, so she was just like, I'm gonna give Murderbot a side quest.
Okay.
So I don't know. I was happy we were back to the novella length.
Yes.
But I was not happy with the weird timeline.
Yeah.
And where the book picked up. And like I said, I should have just read it because I had no clue what was going on for the first 30-40%.
You're like, did I listen to the right book? Did I?
Right.
Yeah.
And so then, and you're talking about a novella. So by the time I knew where I was going, I was fucking 50 pages in. And we're basically done.
Yeah.
We're wrapping it up. But
okay.
Yeah, I mean, the plot was fine. It was a whodunit mystery, but it had, I guess, I would say a little less action than the other books, and I was not surprised who the killer was. So
all right.
It was just they said it, and I wasn't looking for trying to guess who it was. But when they were like, and this was the killer, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yep, that makes sense. Here we are. But yeah, I enjoyed the book. Murderbot is still his snarky self. I will say though that if you are the type of person who demands to see personal growth in a character,
okay,
you'd probably be a little bit sad with this Murderbot because it was a lot of the same. I just care about watching my TV shows. I don't like humans, blah, blah, blah. And now that we're in the 6th book, it's getting a little bit harder to express those feelings, probably in a new way. Right. So, But if you choose to read this book,
yes,
I highly recommend that you read it out of order. And you read this one. It's number 5, and Network Effect is number 6.
Okay.
So, but I still enjoyed it. I mean, it was short enough where I wasn't sitting there for 10 hours like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, exactly.
It put me out of my misery pretty quick. So I gave this one 3.5 nachos. So those of you who have been listening or are alive and might know that there is a TV show about Murderbot.
Yes. Yeah, you told us about it last week, and you were very excited.
I've told you guys like 5 times now.
Yes.
Murderbot is going to be a TV show. So it's already been out for you guys. Probably 2 weeks by now. It just came out for us. The first 2 episodes dropped. And that was one of the things that we got to do when I came to visit, was we got to watch those 2 episodes. So I was pretty stoked about that.
And how does it hold up to you? Do you feel like it's following the book? Do you feel like...
Yes, I feel like it's following the book.
Okay.
There's a little bit of fluff in there. But I guess that makes sense because I'm not 100% sure. I think this season is supposed to be 10 episodes. How are you going to get 10 episodes with 150 pages?
Yeah, exactly.
You make the episodes 20 minutes long.
I know, they're so short.
And then you add in floof.
Yeah, you gotta get all the floof. But we've also, I think you've said in a previous episode too, like, as long as a movie or a show gets about 60% of it right, you still feel like you're okay with it. So you think about 60% is right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was interested to see how they would do his internal, because he has that internal computer interface. I was interested to see how they did it and if it would match how I imagined it. And it was pretty close. I mean, they just brought it up on, because you're watching, so they could bring it up as like an on-screen kind of like thing. And I think I imagined it more like a pair of glasses or something,
Yeah,
almost like an original
VR type situation. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Kind of like Data from Star Trek.
Okay. Yeah.
But
all right. Yeah, I thought it was good. I have not read the books, and I was still excited and intrigued, and I found Murderbot to be as lovable as a robot could be, I guess.
Yes, a murdery robot.
Yeah, I thought it was good, and I will continue to be watching it. So,
yes. I ended up watching it last night with Mike, too.
You did?
Yes. And he giggled the whole time.
Okay.
He was like...
He was loving it.
Yeah. After the first episode, he was like, I could see this getting pretty dark. And I was like, it does not get dark. So...
He just stays a silly little murderbot. Yeah. Okay.
But I didn't say that out loud. In my mind, I was just like... it does not get that way. But out loud, I was like, yeah, that would be crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
who knows?
Totally don't know
does
what's going to happen. Oh. So...
All right. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to see if our listeners are watching it, if they how they feel about it.
Yeah, if you've read this book and you've watched the first couple episodes, shoot us a note and let us know what you think.
Yeah,
because
if you're also on the 60%
yes,
train.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
Excellent.
So, yes.
The end.
The end. And now
the end.
Vanessa's book. Not full the end.
No. The end for you.
Okay. I thought you were trying to be sneaky and be like, and that's the end of the episode.
We're done now. No, I'm actually going to talk about 2 books.
Oh, nice.
So the reason I'm doing 2 is because they go together.
Okay.
So I didn't want to split them up. So I read these on Kindle. They were not Kindle Unlimited. They are not Kindle Unlimited now. So I paid for them. So if you want to read it, you also have to pay for them. But the first one is called Roar. Roar in the roar. ROAR, Roar, by Cora Carmack. It is book 1 of, I think, 3 of the Stormheart series, but I'm going to let you know right now, only 1 and 2 are out, and 3 has no date. So keep that in mind. Book 3 has also moved quite a bit, I guess. So book 1 came out in 2017. Book 2 came out in 2019. Since then, I've seen that she was diagnosed with epilepsy. So she has not come out with the 3rd book yet. And I guess the diagnosis was pretty sudden. And so she's kind of just put stuff out there saying, like, don't know what's happening. And even on her website, it still just says TBD. It's got a title, it's got a description, it's got all the things. It just doesn't have a date. So keep that in mind before you go in if you decide to read these, because book 2 does leave off on a pretty big cliffhanger. So, okay, so these are YA fantasies. So Roar. The world that they live in is one where violent magical storms cause destruction and death.
Yay.
And I will say, I'm going to point out this real fast. I didn't really realize what was happening with these storms. Like, they just kept talking about the storms, and I was like, why do we care so much about these fucking storms?
Right, yeah.
And so it turns out because they're magical storms that, like I said, cause destruction and death. And so only those that can control them, those group of people are called stormlings. And those people are in power and rule the kingdoms. So Aurora Pavan comes from one of the oldest stormling families in existence. Aurora is the sole heir to take over as queen of Pavan. And as of yet, though, she has shown no signs of magic. So she's, like 20 years old or whatever in that age group. But as the leader of a kingdom, you must be a stormling because that is the only way that your people are protected. So anytime a storm comes in, you as the queen or the king or the leader or whatever has to go out and fight the storm so that the storm doesn't make it to your people. So because she has no magic, her mother arranges a marriage for her to marry a stormling prince from another kingdom to ensure their safety and the continuance of their kingdom. Mm-hmm. But the night before the wedding, she learns some secrets about this dark prince Cassian, who she's meant to marry. She sneaks out in a disguise to spy on him and stumbles upon the black market alley in her kingdom. And she finds that in this black market, they sell storm magic there. Which is bought and sold by people called storm hunters. And she speaks to one of the handsome hunters, of course.
Of course, the handsome one.
The handsome hunter, yes. And finds out that while he was not born with magic, he does have magic now. So he's been able to gain magic over time. And legend says that people who originally gained magic by facing a storm and stealing part of its essence, aka its storm heart. So that's how they get magic. So by learning about the hunter, she realizes that if she's able to gain magic as the hunters have, she can keep her kingdom safe without having to marry the stupid lying prince. So basically the book follows her quest to learn everything she can about these storm hunters, about gaining magic, about like all the things, right? So
and this happens the day before her wedding?
Basically, yes.
Okay.
So she ends up disappearing. So it's very early in the book. So I feel like it's not a spoiler. Like in the first 2 chapters is when she ends up leaving him behind, because they're set up to get married. She learns about this lie. She goes out and finds the storm hunters, and she's like, "Deuces, I'm out. I'm gonna go find out this stuff." And she just leaves on the morning of the wedding. Hot guy. Yes, exactly. So yeah, it's very, very quick. So the whole book is just her finding out about all the magic and things like that. So, I would say for a YA fantasy, I liked it. I thought the magic was interesting, but it was a little hard for me to follow sometimes. The way that they fight the storms is very descriptive. And so I couldn't see it in my head. So I'm just picturing her standing in the middle of a tornado being like, "Give me your heart." So yeah, because the storms have you find out why or whatever, but the storms have thoughts and so it's very weird. They can choose where they go. The storms can choose where they hit, and It's crazy. So the magic is cool, I thought.
Have you ever seen, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay.
Have you ever seen Hercules, the cartoon one?
Yeah.
Okay, you remember in the beginning, or you remember when it goes to fight the Titans, and one of them is a giant tornado?
Yes.
That's what I imagine you're talking about right now. It's just like a tornado shaped like a man.
Yes. Let's go with that.
All right, cool.
Okay. So I enjoyed it. I liked it. I liked the love interest, the handsome storm hunter. Mm-hmm. I was concerned that there was going to be a love triangle. I even asked Mr. Chatty in the very beginning because I was like, I'm very upset about this. If there's a love triangle, just tell me right now. Right. And it because I never believed that the prince was like that bad. There were some things that happened that I was like, maybe you're not the greatest, but I will have you know my theory from the beginning was right. And but he so I thought that was going to end up in a love triangle.
Ugh.
Anyway, I ended the book like clinging to his redemption. I wanted it to happen. It does not happen in this book, but and I don't know. I can't put my finger on why I did not love this book. Like there's nothing really bad about it. There really wasn't anything that I didn't really like. I just kind of thought it was okay. Like it was good, but it wasn't.
Yeah. So knowing that I've never read it, and you,
yes,
I have so many questions about like logistics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel like based on what you're saying and my questions, like I think that would be some like just based on that alone. I don't know what I would rate it, but I would probably be like, too many questions.
There's so many questions. So she has secrets in this book. Mm-hmm. Not everybody knows that she's the princess when she goes out on this journey. And the secrets are never revealed. Like in this entire first book, her secrets are never revealed. And that's too many. That's too many longs for the secrets to hold. Because for me, I felt like I had anxiety about it. Like, somebody's going to find out your secret. Somebody's going to find out your secret. And so I was focusing so much on that instead of just like focusing on the story in the book. Also, something that kind of made me feel like it was a little bit lazy is the love interest. His nickname is Locke because none of the hunters use their actual names. But his name is Locke because it's where he's from. And the prince that she was supposed to marry, his name was Cassian Locke. So when we first introduced to him, I was like, literally any other nickname could have worked. Like, you confused the fuck out of me immediately. Like, you could have used anything else. So...
Has she met the prince?
Yes, she had met the prince.
Okay, so it's not the same guy.
So it was not. Yeah, that's like the first thing I was like, okay, is this him? Is this his brother? Is this like a relative? No, they literally just named him Locke because that's where he was from. And I was like, any other name could have done.
Rock.
Exactly. So yeah, I felt that was a little bit lazy. But in the end, I ended up rating it 3.5 chippies. I think if I round, I don't know, because I don't think it was bad enough to be a 3, but I feel like it's too high to be a 4. So I'm in a weird spot, but I don't know. I'm going to stick with 3.5 for now. I don't know which way I'm rounding because I liked it. I enjoyed it. I have questions. Okay. Right. So book 2 is called Rage. And book 2 picks up basically exactly where Aurora finishes. She's learned of what the Locke family is doing at her kingdom. And now she knows that she has to go back and save her mom. Because ever since she ran away on the wedding day, the Locke family has basically taken over her kingdom because we find out some bad things have happened back at their kingdom and they can no longer go back. So it was like a whole thing. And so she wants to now go back and save the queen.
Okay.
So in the first book, by the end of the first book, she had learned how to gain some magic and stuff. So she's now in a place where she is like in a better place to go back and like save her. Her and her hunter friends make it back to the city and join a revolution that is set on getting the kingdom away from the Locks. And not only do the Locks currently have control of the Pavan, I think that's what I call it. There is a Storm Lord who is after the family. And he's basically a powerful dude that can control and command the storms in a way that no other Stormling can. So, and he is dead set on taking out the Locks. So,
so she has 2 enemies now?
Basically.
Okay. Or he doesn't like the other king.
Yes, he does not. So... The Stormlord does not like the Locke family.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't like the Locke family, but he's also like a terrible person, so he'll basically take out anybody in his path.
Okay.
So
I thought this is where you're going to be like, this is where the love triangle comes in, because
it's actually a quadruple.
Yes.
No. So I would say this book has a shit ton of stuff that happens, and literally nothing happens.
Great.
So it's basically a lot of action, a lot of things that happen, but at no point do we get like a resolution, like a
story progression.
Yes, exactly. I do feel like we kind of end up like maybe 1 or 2 things is resolved, but other than that, everything's still open by the end of the book. So the truth finally comes out, so that's good. So we have some secrets that are gone. So nice. At least there's that part. We do get some of the POV from the Stormlord about his past. So we kind of learn more about his powers and stuff and how it's going to affect everybody else. I didn't care about those parts. I skimmed them.
All right, cool.
I read like the first 4 pages of his POV and I was like, okay, I see where this is going. I don't give a shit. So anytime there was his POV, I was like, doop, 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 doop. Yes. So I liked all the characters. Story execution just feels a little bit off to me. That's all.
Okay.
So I rated this one a 3. Like, pretty solid 3. It's not going to get... Yeah, because I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was good enough to where, like, if a book 3 comes out, I will read it. But it was just okay.
Okay.
It was a nice little YA fantasy time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that.
When you started talking about the first book, I was like, yeah, I could see like myself reading this just because it sounds different.
Yeah.
You know? And then as soon as you were like, and the storms are people-ish, and I was like, I don't know, you're losing me.
Maybe I'll give you some spoilers offline, and you can figure out if you would want to read it.
Okay, cool.
Yes. So that's that. Those are all my books. I have a little bit of a listener's corner for you.
Okay, yes. Okay. I would love to hear it.
Okay, so in one of the last ones, we asked, where do you go out into the world and read? Mm-hmm. And if you do, are there any weird places that you read? We didn't get a whole lot of weird places that people go. We had like 3 different people say that they read in the bathroom to hide from their kids. So there's that.
Seems legit. Yeah.
Yep. We also had one who said that they love reading on a treadmill because they feel productive while they're reading.
No.
So
who are you?
Yes. So there's that. No, thank you. But one that I found to be funny is that they said, if I read at home, it won't get read. I need people around me to stay accountable. So they literally go out into the world to read so that other people will see them read.
There you go.
Which I think is a funny way to look at it. Like, if I sit in my house, I'm not going to do it.
That makes sense, actually, because like I'll just look at TikTok all day, and then 4 hours later, you're like, I could have been reading.
Right. Where if you're out in the world and somebody sees you with a book and they're like, why aren't you reading your book? Why is that book just sitting in your lap?
Is that a fake book?
Is that a fake book? Yes. So yeah, that was our little listener corner.
Nice.
Yes. Are you ready for the new question?
Yes.
Are you sure?
No.
Okay, me neither.
Okay.
Okay. What book character would you like to meet?
Easy, Murderbot.
Okay, that's fair. What? He's gonna think you're a crazy human and he's not gonna love you.
That's okay. We could be awkward together.
Okay.
And also, the guy who plays Murderbot is pretty smoking hot. So.
Oh, so you want live action robot or Murderbot? You don't want book Murderbot?
Yes, that's what I want.
All right, that's
I
fair.
would like that. Even if he just sits there and looks other places but at me, like I'll do all the eye contact.
Okay, great. I love how quick that was for you. You were just like, "Yep, I want to meet Murderbot." But specifically,
live action Murderbot.
Live action Murderbot. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So immediately my answer goes back to our question from last week, which was your favorite series.
Mm-hmm.
I want to meet Will Herondale, but only because he's Will Herondale.
I don't know what that means, so I'll trust you with that.
Okay, thank you. He's the lead, one of the leads in the Infernal Devices. So,
okay,
one of the Shadow Hunters. If I was going for like book boyfriend or whatever, I also, oh man, I said earlier this year that Maxentarius Fairleone was like the best book boyfriend ever. So if I'm thinking of book boyfriends, he's got to be involved in there. I got to meet him because he's a little sweetie.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think there's been any romances where I'm like, man,
you got to meet that guy.
I got to meet that guy because he is my,
yeah.
You know, I don't know if I have. I don't know if I have a book boyfriend.
Oh no. Nicole, what are we going to do with you?
I'll read more romances, I guess.
Well, those two that I just named are both fantasy. Oh. They're not even romances.
All right, fine. I'll read more books.
Okay, great. If I'm going with we should meet Rocky from Project Hail Mary.
Oh, that'd be so cute. Yes, that would be adorable.
I'll hang out with him.
I really want to know when they make that movie how they're going to do Rocky. And who is going to be his little voice.
Oh, no. It better be perfect.
If it is not basically what was in the book, I'm going to write it.
Okay, great. We'll write it together. Right. Because I think it would be adorable. I want to meet Rocky on Earth, though. I don't know if I want to go and be stuck in outer space with him.
Yeah. Outer space is
scary.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. And then, I don't know, all sci-fi, like outer space stuff, just seems like gloomy and like end of the world. Like, just kind of thing. So, yeah, if he could, like, I don't know, maybe if I could time travel, or what's that thing where you just like make the loop and you step through it and you're in another place? Teleport. If I could just teleport and be in the bubble at the end and just be like, "Sup, Rocky?" and he's like, "Hello, Nicole," and he does his little musical voice. I'd be, So
yep. Okay, great. That was Rocky for sure is on the list then.
Yes.
All right, great.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm going to think about this some more, though, because there has to be a dude out there where I'm like, yes.
That you've enjoyed during your, Ooh, I wonder if this, this is not a question for today, but we're going to add it to the list, so keep it in your mind, okay?
Okay.
Is there a face or like an actor or something like that you see when you're reading books that have like a male lead, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have one. So
okay,
we're gonna add it to the list. And just, I want you to keep it in mind.
Okay.
And we'll talk about it on another episode.
All right. I'll think about it.
Okay. It just popped in and I was like, because I think I've seen this question somewhere before and I was like, ooh, yes. Okay, that fits in here though. Because now we need to find you a book boyfriend and we need to know who you picture when you see that book boyfriend.
Okay. Word.
Okay, so thanks for listening.
Thanks for being here.
Yes,
thanks
for hanging out. Yes. One of the side effects is not death this time. Let us know what who you want to meet and if we can come hang out too. And go to our website, savorthestorypod.com. Go to all of our socials, Savor the Story Pod, everywhere. Go to YouTube, go to all the places, and give us love.
Right. Tell us everything.
Yes. Comments and likes and thumbs ups and all the things. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye. Get out of here.